Hi, welcome to PC Chess Club. This is going to be a walkthrough on Chess Informant 130. This is the Olympiad issue. I'm going to show you a quick summary on what that it has to offer other than what you may have read on the website. The best game in the preceding volume, and you see a lot of notes where it's annotated. This is shot in 4K, 24 frames per second, and wide mode. You get the ECO here, just like the ECOs. You get all of that, and then you'll get all the notes that go with it. That's common to the Chess Informant. But what do we have for number 130? What we have is Sam Shanklin, and he's going to cover the FIDE World Chess Championship, Carlsen versus Karjakin, or Magnus versus Sergey. And you can see there's a lot here to cover. Covers several end games. Really good coverage too. Amazing. Sam Shanklin, one of the premier American grandmasters. It's going to be just like having Sam sit down with you and go over those games. Like if you could fit some time to meet with Sam on Skype, it would be pretty expensive. But it's going to be cheaper to get the Chess Informant. Okay, the silver and gold. This is the Baku Olympiad, Andrei Volokotin. And his country is Ukraine, born 1986, rating 2649, peak rating 2725, title Grandmaster since 2001. Andrei's going to cover some games from the Baku Olympiad. And in fact, he's going to show you some of the games that he played, several, and then give you an example here. He covers a game, Volokotin versus Babula, not quite sure how you pronounce that name. My apologies to the player if I mispronounced your name. So he'll break down the game, show you that on the 6th move, bishop e3, he says, I spent about 6 minutes on this opening choice. And then he's going to give you some more reasons why. He'll cover every couple of moves, and he's talking about the Najdorf variation. He'll cover every couple of moves, and then he'll get to a key move. You get the Chess Informant, you'll find out what that key move is. He'll go to a key move where he says, I spent no less than 36 minutes deciding on the well-known theoretical move. Every couple of moves, he's going to annotate that for you. You can see it's just incredible amount of knowledge that you can pick up on chess from here, from the Chess Informant. Eric Hansen, from this day forward known as the Canadian Lion. That's a new nickname for Eric. From this day forward, Eric, your new chess nickname is the Canadian Lion. He's a strong player, strong grandmaster out of Canada. Canada, born 1992, rating 2603, peak rating 2604, grandmaster since 2013. So he's still young. He's got a lot of time to go, a lot of time to develop. Michael Adams, talking about his longest game ever. Mickey Adams, rating 2748, peak rating 2761, born 1971. So who says that you can't play well as you get older? Age is just but merely a number, my friend. 166 moves, Michael Adams, and he annotates all of that. His longest game ever. We applaud you, sir, Michael Adams, you indeed did play a long game, 166 moves. That is a long game indeed. Here he plays who is known as the Chinese Dragon, Wang Yu. That's Wang Yu right there. He annotates that game. So we'll see how he did in that game. Was Michael Adams the Dragon Slayer? Did Wang Yu fall to the Dragon Slayer? Or was Michael Adams consumed by the dragon? Carlsen versus mere mortals in Baku. This is how Carlsen did at the Baku Olympiad. Most of this whole thing is going to be just all about the Olympiad. And so we don't skip somebody here, we'll do a little bit more detail later. That's Grandmaster Alexander Kolovich. Latin Americans, Mareko. Latin Americans at the Olympiad. Sandro Mareko, born 1987, rating 2635, peak rating 2635, but he's only been a GM since 2010. 10th place of Peru. Then he talks about Paraguay, talks about Argentina. Oh, it would take you a long time just to get through this. Just to get through this, my friend. And the world's best database for annotated games. This was Paramount database number 1. It has every game featured in the Informants, volumes 1 to 123. If you go to the Informants website, Chess Informant, the periodical the pros use, go to chessinformant.org. The chess database for serious chess players. 113,832 games, all annotated. Every one, my friend. 113,000 annotated games. Kasparov. Annotators include Kasparov. He annotated 630 games. Astounding. You have the notes directly from Kasparov himself. Bobby Fischer, only 10. Karpov, world champion, 580 games. Kramnik, 442. Anand, 507. Botvinnik, only 29. Smyslov, 130. Mikhail Tal, legendary attacker, 372. Tigran Petrosian, the Python, 510 games annotated. Spassky, only 17. He's right up there with Fischer. And you may know this person as Gligoric. And I've heard in one of the videos, Kasparov, Gary Kasparov, pronounces it Gligorich. 685. Geller and Gligoric, or Gligorich, they're old-timers from a different era, from the 50s and 60s, mostly, but they are really good at annotating the games. You want to cherish those. Those are like golden nuggets. Timman, Jan Timman, he did 569. You may know Timman from the opening journal called New in Chess Yearbook. Okay. Boris Gelfand, that played Anand, he has annotated 517 of his games himself. Michael Adams, we just talked about, 428 games he's annotated himself. John Nunn, that wrote the Chess Ending series, 317 games. Perennial favorite Alexei Shirov, 515. And Chucky is back. Vasily Ivanchuk, 403. And there's others. Just decide if you want it. It is DVD box, chess base ready for any software, any app, Windows, Macintosh, Linux, iOS, and Android. The next candidate up is Windmill, Ivan Sokolov. He's going to tell you about the young Iranians right there. Young Iranians. And he played them and then became their coach. What they do is they pick 10 foreigners to play the 10 best. Well, guess who one of the foreigners was? Ivan Sokolov. And you have players like this guy, Arisi Farusha. Not sure how to pronounce that name, but he's 13 years old, playing international tournaments, playing very well, I might add. So they still have room to grow in their openings. And then our perennial favorite at PC Chess Club, none other than Rafael Lateo. He mentions, as we can see in the Najdorf, being surprised in the opening is very dangerous. Very dangerous. And he's going to tell you why. Read this and you'll find out why it's so dangerous. And we have a young opening theoretician born in 1999, one of the world's youngest opening theoreticians, Benjamin Glidura. Benjamin Glidura. And you can see he goes here and annotates this very well. Breaks down the game as exceptional organization here for a person so young. Give you an example here. B2 C6 3222. That's one subvariation, and says the symbol unclear but with compensation for the material, and black has good compensation for the pawn. Yeah, good compensation for the pawn. I would agree wholeheartedly. And he gives you a game and said that was one of his favorite games. Emanuel Berg from Sweden, another great annotator. He's a good theoretician as well. He's going to cover black. I'm going to walk you through an opening right back here. Gives you the white side and the black side. When the English attack against the Sicilian is met by 8th move H5. Okay, and we're going to talk about mirrors. In that article, we'll be talking about mirrors. There's one that will help your game a lot, immensely. The Encyclopedia of Chess Combinations. ECC is the ultimate educational tool with systematic, carefully selected, pro-level content. Oh yes, the fun is still there, only on a completely different scale. Imagine the thrill you will get after solving and surviving the chess riddle of the Sphinx. It is an amazing book that will shave months and years off the time it takes you to master combinations. That is a must-have book, that Encyclopedia of Chess Combinations, and it's geared by level as well. So it will have beginner, intermediate, advanced, or beginner, intermediate, expert. If that's easier for you to think of or easier to remember, that's fine. Carsten Mueller, world's premier endgame theoretician, is going to cover endgames from the Baku Olympiad. It's going to cover pawn endings, rook endings, and knight endings. Now, take a second here to point something out. His rating is 2532, peak rating of 2558, Grandmaster since 1998. You may know him from the Endgame DVD series he did for ChessBase, and for the Endgame segment he does in every ChessBase magazine, and just a lot of endgame stuff that he's done over the years. Carsten Mueller, the name for endgames. He is the go-to guy for endgames. Probably the best, absolute best in-game theoretician, Karsten Mueller. Then you get into the games, and we will go over that another time. You can see that they say that some of the games aren't played anymore. Like one game here was Gawain Jones from 2016. It was A65. It was a Benoni, modern Benoni. And it is alive and well. And did Gawain Jones win it? Well, you can look that up. You can Google it. You can look it up in a database. But to get all the notes, you'll find them exclusively for your pleasure and enjoyment in Chess Informant. And then you'll see that some of the games are heavily annotated. Move 11 for black, a lot of notes, then move 12 for white, a lot of notes, then move 12 for black, a lot more notes. So that is a key time. And then you back up even before that, you get to the 10th move for white, you got a lot of notes, then black's move, you got a lot more notes, then white's move and black's move together. So it means that white's move was pretty much an obvious move, nothing much to write about. But the novelty move on the 11th move, that novelty, it got exclamation and then question mark. So it got a move worthy of attention or worth considering. That means this is like a test game. They're testing out the idea, but consider that move, that 11th move. You might want to add that to your repertoire, or if you're playing against it, you might want to consider that. Yeah, you might want to consider that, because that move, it has something that will change the game. It's a game changer. I don't want to give it away. Spoiler alert, but it's a game changer. Oh, in the Chess Informant 130, you'll see a game between Caruana and Bariv, the Baku Olympiad. B12, when Caruana was facing the Caro-Kann, he chose the advanced variation. And they give you notes. So did Grishik on ICC Blitz at the Baku Olympiad. So did Michael Adams, also known as Mickey Adams, when he played Mamedyarov. And there are some others. Alexandra Kosteniuk, she chose the advanced variation against Alexei Drev in a rapid game, Russia Rapid 2016. And in this game, the novelty was the 11th move, Bishop F4, there's an N for novelty, and it was done by white. It was done by Caruana. And the game, the reason I'm talking about it, the game is annotated by Ivan Sokolov, Grandmaster Ivan Sokolov. He's really good on the middle game. Game only lasted 31 moves, so you might want to sit up and take notice that these guys, they played a game that was over really quick. At that level, Caruana at the Baku Olympiad was 28.08, and Bariv, Evgeny Bariv, was 26.75. So you're talking about more than 125 points. Some say 133 points, but more than 125 points if you just round it off to the nearest quarter. The thing to walk away with here is to notice that Ivan Sokolov is going to annotate that game, and he's going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to give you 4 of those total, 4 other games, and also annotate the moves. Not just the moves in the game is he going to give you, but he's going to annotate those moves and give you his opinion. So he'll tell you if something was dubious, something was a really good move, all of that. You will see a game here. We have to go back here to D, I believe it is, or C. I think it's in C. You'll see games like Topalov, the London Chess Classic 2016, Topalov versus Wesley So. And I believe there is a game or two in here that were annotated by Wesley So. Don't quote me. I know several of Wesley So's games are in here, and they were annotated by professional annotators. Eric Hansen versus Sam Shanklin, Baku Olympiad. And the game was annotated by none other than Eric Hansen. So the person that played it also annotated it. And what I talked about in another video about the ECO symbols explained, Eric puts in here one of the notes. He says 30-second move, knight d3, triangle sign, meaning with the idea, queen e4, comma, f4, and then the upward arrow. Anybody remember what the upward arrow means? The difference between initiative and attack? There you go. You say, oh, you're just making that up. You're just saying that. No, we'll show you. We'll show you. The upward arrow is with initiative. Okay? So Eric is saying you're getting a grandmaster there to say on the 32nd move, it's the 31st move, and Sam Shanklin played rook to d2, then Eric writes in the notes 31st move, if he would have played rook d to e7, move the d rook, d file rook, move it to e7, white could play e6, okay, but it would be better, in other words, he as white, either one, either Eric could play it or white could play it. But he's saying, here's a better idea. How about knight to d3 with the idea of queen to e4 and then f4, and then you have the initiative. Yeah, then you have the initiative. And you can see here, well, you may not see it because the camera's moved back too far, but in this diagram, page 249 in Informant 130, Eric is going to explain that and much more, and he's going to show you how that you can get the initiative in the opening, yes, but you can get the initiative in the middle game. And one of the games that he references is Sergei Karjakin versus Wesley So, Bilbao 2016. So Eric Hansen gives you a really good reference game to look at, and he shows you from the 16th move to the 23rd, and then ends it by saying equal. It was dead even position. And lo and behold, Magnus Carlsen versus Sergey. Magnus versus Sergey in the New York match, 10-3. And you've got so much more, so many more in here. You can go back here and you can look. It'll be the index. You look up the players. You look up So. Wesley So. And you find out all these games that Wesley So played. Then you have all the combinations. You have the combinations section. And you're going to get really, really good. What we were talking about in another video where they have a 1 I don't see a 2, but you have a 3. It's like a 1, a 2, or a 3. And it has to do with what they're targeting. Like a lot of times it might be a combination to win a piece, to attack the king, to equalize. There's different reasons. That's another video. You're going to get some of the best endings combination section by GM Bronco Tadic. One combination is How Ye Fawn versus Caruana. And lo and behold, they're saying that it's black's move, and black has the distinct advantage. Yeah, well, I would call it distinct advantage. Some people would say upper hand, but I would say distinct advantage. You go back here and you say, prove it to me, show me. Well, right here, black has a decisive advantage. Remember, minus sign followed by a plus sign. Either one works, a decisive advantage or a distinct advantage. Either one, that's fine. But they're saying that Caruana, there's going to be a combination that Caruana did, and that combination turned the course of the game. Get Informant 130, find out what that combination is. Endings, and then you have your list of tournaments. That's it. And then the grand champion himself, Magnus Carlsen. So I hope that you've enjoyed this highlights reel of Informant 130. Go to chessinformant.org and purchase your copy of Chess Informant today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. All the best.